Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. It is Hugo Quintanilla here, your favorite neighborhood realtor. Oh my, let me turn that down. I was just listening to some tunes on Instagram with the crew over there. If you guys have any questions or want to have priority in the chat, please go over to my Instagram and follow and just check out the live over there. I do have a direct feed there. So if you guys have any questions, I can bring it into the live. We were just listening to some music while I was getting ready for day 16. And what is this? What are we doing right now? This is your 15, 20-minute block a day to learn a little bit more about real estate and how it benefits you. I am Hugo Quintanilla, your favorite neighborhood realtor. My phone number is 240-389-4846. My email is hugo@lnf.com. And my website is yourrealtorhugo.com. I have a few other emails and websites that I want you guys to check out, but I will direct you all to go over there because we have a lot of new things on the horizon for myself. We just published the first article in our new blog on the Long and Foster website. So very excited about that. It is about breaking, excuse me, breaking barriers, a millennial's guide to homeownership in 2024. It's based off an article that I read is based off of a report that Clever made. And that can be found on the realestatewitch.com. It's a pretty interesting report that surveyed millennials' feelings about homeownership and some of the challenges and some key ways that you can overcome these things. It's not about reinventing the wheel. Sometimes it's just really about teaching people the fundamentals. Every day I'm amazed more and more how little financial literacy there is and how little it's being taught and how people don't realize that in the long and the short of things, they really they're not doing their due diligence and doing the math and keeping up with the math to get ahead. And that's why they'll always fall behind. So, yeah, knowing your math, knowing if the numbers work, making sure that the maths are huge, huge, huge things. So please make sure that that's something that the fundamentals of your math when it comes to saving and working towards that home ownership goal. Check out that article. It's a pretty quick read. And yeah, if you have any question, feedback on your experiences in the home ownership process, I'd love to hear about them. And if you would allow me to share them, I would love to share them too. Hopefully, we can bring more of that into the show over time. But this is only about 20, 15 minutes a day. So let's get started with what I had prepared for y'all. But this is your show, so don't forget about that. So for today, our goal is going to be turning dreams into reality, bringing your home's transformation to life with repairs and renovations. We have done a whole bunch of planning. We've done a whole bunch of working together with contractors and realtors and friends and family. We've pretty much gotten everything on the same page, and we're working towards that. So today we're going to unlock the next chapter. Day 16 is all about turning dreams into reality, diving into the world of repairs and renovations, crafting a home that speaks to the every buyer and their heart. It is really for the love of home, and that's what I love the most about Long and Foster. Shout out to Janice, my favorite manager. Had a lovely conversation with her today. Very excited about the coming year and the business at Long and Foster. So it's been a very good day. Elevate your property's allure and set the stage for an unforgettable journey. And you got to be ready for this transformation because it will take a little bit of work on your part, but there are very easy ways for you to make this a stress-free, or at least less stressful operation. So my first suggestion would be coordinate with contractors, confirm schedules with contractors, and ensure they have access to your property to commence work. It's really as simple as putting a lockbox on the property. You got to do your due diligence, got to go out there, got to talk to people, got to make sure that you're seeing them and actually speaking to them, if need be. If not, make sure they have access to the property, make sure that they know what they're doing. Specifically, take pictures. It doesn't ever go, well, I shouldn't say ever, but it doesn't go without notice when people go above and beyond. And when you are in the business of getting results for people, documenting the before and after of the operation is one of the easiest ways not only to show results but show quality of work. So that's something we'll talk about later. And none of these things are in any specific order. I didn't have time to really order them. I just kind of thought of them as I was thinking about, okay, at this point, with everything we've learned in these last 2 weeks, what is it that would be the most crucial things to remember during this time? Scheduling. Scheduling. I've told you this with the moving company. You got to make sure that these contractors know where they need to be and who they need to respond to. Because if they don't, then you run the risk of not only them making a mistake with the materials, not being prepared, not actually being on time, not, doing what they need to do. There's a whole plethora of things that could happen because of misunderstandings and miscommunications about scheduling. So making sure that you have the appropriate crew to come in and do the work is also something that you have to keep in mind. Um, Now, the next one would be supervise the repair process. This goes without saying. You have to be there and be present. It's very, very difficult to build something or create something from afar, especially when you're talking about, you know, contractors and things like that. Yes, they are professionals. Yes, they should do things to, what you asked for. But there's just nothing like knowing that the big boss is there for people to act a little more professional and a little bit more quick and a little bit more on the up and up. For a lot of contractors, it doesn't matter. But I think if you supervise the process and you witness what's happening, there are more points of you being able to not only participate in the process and know what's going into your home, but be a little bit more knowledgeable of where these extra expenses might be coming from, how materials might be being wasted, and what could be occurring that's actually damaging your build. Because there are situations where you could have that happen. Hopefully you don't. Really, I'm trying to think of just good contractors, and they really all take care of that. They really do, look out for you. So, you know, pick them first. And that's why it's so crucial to do your research in the beginning. You have to take your time there because it will pay off in the long run. If possible, be present or appoint someone to supervise the repair or renovation work. When I build abroad, that is what is done. We send someone out there, have them supervise everything, and it's really one of the only ways to make sure that a property gets done on time is having the person present there through the whole project. Um, it's just you could try many other ways, and you always run the risk of things being delayed or the doubt more than anything else, and the mistrust and miscommunication that can happen from a distance. Because at the end of the day, anyone can lie, especially so far away. And images are so easy to be faked now that you could be paying months and months and months for a property, a build that doesn't even exist. And we hear about it all the time. So making sure you're working with trustworthy people, people that know what they're doing and are actually of their word is huge. Ensure compliance with agreements. Confirm that the agreed upon repairs or renovations align with your discussed and written agreements. Just get everything out there on the same page. If it's been a few months since this last conversation happened, make sure that these quotes are still good. I can't tell you how many awkward situations we had where there was a, for example, Miscommunication with not just the contractor, but also with what the expectation was for the landlord. And that no one's happy in those situations. And the only thing you have to go back on are those contractual agreements. It really is something to take note of. You have to have everything written, because even if a spoken word agreement is not valid, it's just, you don't want to do that to yourself. So make sure that you are both on the same page and that everything is clear about how things are going to operate, and who they're going to respond to. Who is the person that's going to be in charge, and where do I go to when something is wrong or someone hasn't shown up. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so monitor budget and costs. Keep an eye on costs to ensure they align with your budget for repairs and renovations. Keep an eye on costs. Do I have to tell you guys more? We established a budget for a reason. We wanted to make sure that we stay within that budget, because it does impact your bottom line. It's just the more that we can hit that dollar amount that we estimated, the better. So I know that stuff does come out of price sometimes, and I've told you before, expect 20% more cost and 10% more time at least. So, look at those costs though, and that's why you would like to be present, because that way you don't run the risk of maybe accusing someone of um, abusing the funds available, because that really what it comes down to. If there isn't someone present, is that there's some sort of miscommunication that might happen, or distrust that might happen, and then you're kind of left always wondering. Address unforeseen issues. If unexpected issues arise during the process, work with the contractor to find solutions and adjust plans accordingly. Now, at this point, sometimes you have that horror story where you never hear from the contractor again and they skip town, or, the work's never finished. You gave them a pretty big deposit. My best suggestion is never give any money without a written contract between both people. Don't work with anyone that doesn't have a licensed and insured and bonded LLC. Make sure that you can look it up and that it's licensed in your state and that it's in good standing. Do your due diligence in these areas, because these people have something to lose. A company, a handyman, some person off the street that you just asked for the favor, someone off a Nextdoor, someone off a Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, they are not liable, not responsible for damaging your property if something goes wrong. So keep that in mind if you are trying to save a buck, because saving a buck that way can cost you a lot. So mm. Prioritize high impact areas. Remember how I told you that 80% of the traffic is in 20% of the house? So focus on completely repairing or renovating high impact areas that significantly contribute to your home's appeal. If you have floors that are badly damaged, that's a huge expense, but it's worth taking. If you can't use the air conditioning or a lot of the other facilities and systems in the home aren't working, that's something that you have to address. You have to make the home livable, safe, and just appealing for the buyer. If you don't do that, you always can sell the property. There's always going to be a buyer for homes, but the pool that buyer is in is a lot smaller. Verify quality of work. Regularly check the quality of work to ensure it meets the agreed upon standards. Take pictures. That's why I told you, take pictures. Take pictures before, take pictures after. You're doing yourself a favor. It's just pictures speak louder than words, especially now in a day and age when we have so many cameras and are able to do that. If you have a quality camera on your phone, try. Try and document as much as you can. Stay in communication with contractors. Maintain open communication with contractors to address any questions or concerns promptly, and also to warranty any work that they might have done if they agreed upon a warranty. And this is why you have to know how to manage contractors and need to know, hey, am I going to be the one that's going to be doing all of this? Am I going to be the one that's going to be fronting all this weight and pressure? Am I going to be like negotiating with all these people and talking with all these people? Or do I want someone that is going to be able to handle this project for me and I just tell them what I want and they handle with the stress of it? Staying in good communication with contractors is essential. Sometimes poor communication or bad communication, or maybe something is said, an argument, disagreement, misunderstanding, who knows, it can lead to very hurt feelings and very ill will between contractor and landlord, and it can be a mess. So I would suggest, if you are not a person that likes to handle stress, likes to deal with people, likes to go up and down and trying to, find things out from different people, hire someone, hire a general contractor to do all of it so that you can delegate it. Because you trying to find a plumber, an electrician, a sheetrocker, or a landscaper, all these things could be very taxing on you. So just keep that in mind. Secure necessary permits. Ensure that all necessary permits for repairs or renovations are secured and displayed if required. My best suggestion is make sure that any work more than 6 feet in general area needs a permit. Pretty much that's a pretty big renovation at that point. But check with the contractor and make sure to check with the state and county, sometimes even the city regulations for what you can and can't do. I don't know if anybody's heard about the girl that dug a tunnel underneath her home. That's a big no-no. So she was trying to use her mineral rights, and unfortunately in that particular county that's not allowed. And apparently there are a few other violations there, so she never got permits. She did all of this stuff either by herself or with contractors, but there were never any permits done, so that is all being shut down. You have to get permits. It has to be inspected and has to be checked out by a third party and signed off on, because if something were to happen, that property could be condemned and it could actually damage the integrity of the whole neighborhood. The further sad part of that story is that there's neighbors there that are the most fearful that she's damaged the integrity of their buildings and the value of their homes because of her digging and her moving around the ground underneath her house. So it's going to be an interesting story to see. I believe it's in Virginia. So lastly, and on the same vein, is plan for final inspections. Coordinate with final inspectors to ensure that all repairs and renovations meet safety and code standards. It can take some time. You need to know when to do the appropriate inspections. So consult with your contractors, work with the state and the county, and like even the city if you need to get it done and through. And if you have questions about what their standards are, then ask. There are tons of resources there. It's not a guessing game. There are guidelines that need to be met. So meeting the guidelines. Don't skip corners. Don't, shy away from the things that need to be done. And that's it. Completing necessary repairs or renovations on day 16 will bring you one step closer to showcasing your home in its best condition for potential buyers. It's very difficult that everything's going to be finished in just one day. So chances are you're probably going to be spending about a week or 2 weeks getting these repairs done. But for the purposes of our blueprint, this is basically the day that everything would get done. Especially if you don't have a lot of big projects, you could get a paint done throughout the whole home probably within a day. Let it air out and everything kind of cure in about 2 days. So it can be done, and rushing it, it can happen. It's just you got to be prepared for that pace, and if you've done your research and done your planning, it can happen. So to recap for tonight, we have coordinate with contractors, supervise the repair process, ensure compliance with agreements, monitor budget and costs, address unforeseen issues, prioritize high impact areas, verify quality of work, stay in communication with contractors, secure necessary permits, plan for final inspections, and that's it, guys. Day 16 is in the books. So, day 17 tomorrow, we will probably have a delay from everything that it seems like. Haven't heard anything before I got live. So, but day 17 tomorrow, in case you guys have some time, it's going to be review your home's curb appeal, enhance it if need be, landscaping, exterior paint touch ups, and that's what we're going to be looking at for tomorrow. So hopefully there's no snow on the ground and we'll be able to do that. But even if there is, there's a lot of stuff that you can do to hop on it as soon as the elements allow you to. Yes, it's a little bit more difficult to work in the cold. You have to plan more around the weather, but we will talk about that tomorrow. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for viewing this live on Facebook and on YouTube and on Instagram. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free and leave them down below. My phone number is 240-389-4846. My email is hugo@lnf.com. And my website is your realtor Hugo at my yourrealtorhugo.com. I think I said my email wrong. My email is hugo@lnf.com. My website is yourrealtorhugo.com. It's about time we turn in. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you again for participating and showing me so much love and support on these. And yeah, I appreciate y'all. Check out the new blog post, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great Wednesday. Have a great Wednesday. See you.